Welcome to the Real Comic Heroes Podcast. Your adventure into the world of comic book movies starts here.
Greetings, citizens, and welcome to another adventure of the Real Comic Heroes Podcast. I'm Travis, and Patrick is out on assignment. He's, just popped over to the next galaxy. He said he'd be back, anytime. So we lost track of him. I don't know where he is, but yeah, he'll be back. So no worries there. He's fine.
You got to send him out to probe he's in training. He's
That's
like
right, yeah.
He's like a little monkey. You got to train him up. Put him in the pod, send him out into space.
That's right. And listeners should know that voice by now. That's Jonathan Howell.
What's up, you bastards?
and I'm also joined by Eric Magill. Welcome.
That is me. Hello.
All right. Are we ready?
I like it when you insult them.
Yeah.
You guys suck. It's not in my nature, man.
Right.
I was on here to talk about the Crow movies before, and
Yeah.
I said good things about them. So that's something.
Well, one of them, you're right.
Not the first one. I talked about the sequels.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well,
Yeah. But we're not here to talk about the Crow.
No.
We're here to
thank
talk.
God, finally.
Yeah. Oh, it's time for Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes.
oh shit, we were supposed to watch that one.
It's a total remake of the 68 version. So you'll be fine. All your notes
Oh, okay. It's
all
the
your
same
notes
exact
will line
thing?
up. Yeah.
I mean, Charlton Heston is in it. So.
Yeah.
he is.
Yeah. And I just learned so is Linda Harrison, the lady that played Nova in she's one of the humans in the wagon that they all get captured in and get loaded into the wagon. She's the one who, like, when Mark Wahlberg starts to speak, she silences him.
Oh.
So
Is she the one that goes, Taylor?
yeah. Taylor.
Taylor.
So
I did not know that.
Yeah, I didn't either until this handy little thing called Wikipedia.
Yes.
So, but before we dive into some ape content, I sent you guys some questions. Jonathan, I don't think you'd answered these before, right?
No.
Okay. So let's see. What order did I send them in?
It's okay. You can say them out of order.
Yeah, they have a kind of a flow that.
Okay.
So whoever wants to go first, what was the first comic book you read?
Well, I was over at a friend's house, and he pulled this one comic out. He said, this one's kind of serious and hardcore. And I'm like, it's a comic book. How hardcore can it be? And I'd never read a comic book before. I grew up like thinking comic books were for kids and all this stuff. And he handed me Sin City.
Okay.
So that was the very first comic book I ever read was Sin City.
How old were you?
I was about 8.
Oh, okay.
So for an 8-year-old, Sin City is hardcore.
Yeah. Okay.
That's not bad.
Yeah, Jonathan?
I was let me do the math. 6, 7. I was 7. Don't mean to beat you by 1 year.
No, it's fine.
We all know this is a competition.
This is hard. This was hard. I had to go back in my head because I'm an old man now, and so it's been a long time. But I remember going with my grandmother to the drugstore in our small town, and they had the rack. The rack. The rack.
I know that rack.
Remember the rack. And on it was, and I had to go look this up because I was like, I don't even remember what year this is from.
Yeah.
It was the original Dr. Solar Man of the Atom and Magnus Robot Fighter from Whitman. Whitman used to do a double. They used to put them together because they didn't have enough story for an actual comic. So it was 2 of them. And I remember reading that a billion times. That was probably the first comic book I remember reading. I know I read other ones at that time, but I wasn't into comics until I didn't collect until 85 when Crisis happened, because I was like, I'm completely confused by this whole universe. Hey, they're rebooting it. Awesome. I'll just start buying it.
That's why they do it.
So yeah, that was my first.
Right on. All right. First comic book movie you saw?
Superman 3, although I don't know if that actually counts as a comic book movie, so it's not based on any comic books. It's just a Richard Pryor movie.
Well, yeah.
But I do remember the that Borgification scene at the end traumatized me as a kid.
Yeah.
One of the scariest things I'd ever seen. And I saw Alien at around 9 too. So
And you read Sin City yet?
And I read Sin City. I was very precocious.
Mine, again, to beat you just by a little bit, was Superman 1 in 1978. I was 4, but I know I saw it because I was so jazzed after it. And then I was jazzed to see 2 when it came out in 80, 81.
Think so? Yeah.
Something like that. So yeah, it was Superman.
Yeah.
So that's the first one I ever saw. I mean, technically, my dad took me to see Star Wars. Is that a comic book movie?
Well, I mean,
they had a comic book.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you done Star Wars yet?
We have. Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen a Star Wars.
But I'm going to go with no, because I would think I was 3. So
okay. Yeah. Yeah, if you can't remember it, you know.
But I was 4 when I saw Superman, but I remember it.
Right.
So figure that out.
Yeah. Favorite comic book issue or series?
Okay, well, for me, I've got a lot of nostalgia because in the late 90s, I worked at a comic book store. It was specifically a Marvel comic book store.
Weird.
That was in Universal Studios.
Okay.
And I got addicted to trying to figure out the madness that was the X-Men in the late 90s, which completely insane. But I really, really got into the X-Man, Nate Gray, which ran from like 95 to 2001, I want to say. I read the whole thing. I owned the whole thing. I sold it on eBay like, I don't know, 20 years ago. It's like, but yeah, I've always got a lot of nostalgia for that, even though it's completely insane. And if you asked me what the plot was, I would not be able to tell you anymore.
Okay.
But the comic I think I've read the most, like I've read it more than once, I've read it multiple times, is the original Infinity War.
Okay.
The one with Adam Warlock and all that. I do really like that comic.
Yeah. That's a good little mini series. Jonathan?
Sorry, once again. 1983's X-Men, the Uncanny X-Men, the double-sized issue with the Brood. The first time we met the Brood,
right,
it was awesome. They were in space. This was like the first time they'd like farted around in space with the Shi'ar Empire and all that stuff. So it was the one where Wolverine famously gets bitten, and his mutant healing factor is fighting it. So the whole time he's got Brood skin, but he's still himself, and he's just like in such pain.
Yeah.
That was great series. Loved that. I picked more than one because I was like, there's no way I can pick just one. Obviously, Crisis on Infinite Earths in 85. And then to go over to the other one, The Authority. The one I've read the most, the first run of The Authority a million times. I own all those. I love them. I know you don't love Hitch. Sorry.
The art.
Warren Ellis and Brian Hitch. I have some of his art up in my place when I was younger, and I was able to buy it back in the days when they didn't give a shit. Like they just, you could like call their wives and they would like on eBay and they'd be like, here you go. Here's some art for $40. Sure. But that was probably my favorite because I love Stormwatch too. So yeah, that's those are my like 3, I'd say. But I have so many because I also liked Planetary. I mean, there's so many good runs out of Warren Ellis and those guys. That's all I got.
Cool. Favorite comic book movie?
Well, I'll just get this out of the way because I'm a basic bitch, but I got to say Dark Knight.
I don't think that's been said yet.
Really?
A lot of people have gone with Batman 89. That's been, I think, the most common answer for favorite. Yeah. I think
I'm just like a film nerd and I like pretentious films. So like, and Dark Knight is very pretentious and I like it. So.
Yeah. I mean, that goddamn Heath Ledger performance, is
so good.
It's pretty incredible. So fair.
I also like basic stuff. It's Endgame.
Okay.
Because I kind of wanted it to be something like earlier for cred.
Yeah.
And I was like
something around 2007, just to
I've watched Endgame 1,000 times. Yeah. I love it. It is the culmination of just I mean, as we all know, we're all kind of stuck in this the end of phase 5 bullshit that's going on right now. But I mean the end of that was perfect.
Yeah, I agree. That's
perfect movie.
That's my favorite Marvel movie. I don't know. It's easily in my top, 4 or 5 favorite comic book movies.
Yeah.
for sure.
I mean, Batman, Superman, definitely that's my childhood is Superman. And then when Batman came out in 88, I still remember that, but yeah, 89, whatever.
Right on.
But yeah, those are good ones.
Those are, yeah.
Yeah. Well, the real reason everyone's here is to find out
Talk about
what
our
you guys,
favorite
your
monkey
favorite movie we can now talk about. You know, what's your history with this Planet of the Apes with Tim Burton's?
I saw it in the movie theater with my wife.
Yeah.
And we both came out and went, the fuck was that? Because we were both, I mean, you're like Tim Burton, you're like, oh, Planet of the Apes. Oh, this is going to be like a really fun take on this story. And then you get in the movie and you're like, oh no. Like the first 10 minutes, I'm like, oh no, they're in space already.
Right.
Oh no, there's chimps in spacesuits. And I'm like, oh no. And then by the end of it, and then the end scene, you're like, oh no. So yeah, I mean, there's not a ton of redeeming stuff in this other than we'll get to the good stuff. There's good stuff in it, but it's not the acting, the script, or the production of it. There's things that were made for the movie that are awesome, but other than that, it's a rough one.
Well, me personally, I've been a Planet of the Apes fan forever, like a huge Planet of the Apes fan. I even watched the TV show when I was a kid and the animated version too. I read the book, you know, I was totally in. And then like the early 2000s, you know, I had seen Mark Wahlberg from, I mean, I knew him as Marky Mark, of course, but I also had seen him in the Basketball Diaries, which is like the one movie where he actually acts. And I thought, great, Mark Wahlberg, he can do this. He was in the Basketball Diaries. And yeah, Tim Burton, Batman 89, everything else, Edward Scissorhands. I loved Tim Burton. And I kind of felt the same way. I'm like, this is going to be great. There's no way this is going to be bad. And I was kind of numb when I left the movie theater. But I've kind of had a love-hate relationship with it over the years. I watch it and sometimes I like it and sometimes I hate it. And I can't quite make up my mind. So I think this is going to be a really fun conversation.
Yeah.
Like we had a hard 2 years in 2000, 2001, 2000. The Phantom Menace came out and I walked down and looked at my wife and I went, that wasn't good, was it? That wasn't right. That was, let's go see it again. That wasn't good. And then I got this movie. I'm like, what's going on, guys? I mean, is the Mummy now the only thing that's good? Hopefully they don't screw up the Mummy too. Oh shit, they did. You know, so
yeah,
it was a rough time.
I remember like it, you know, anticipating this movie coming out because you know, Sci-Fi Channel when I was a kid would run the original Planet of the Apes movies, and I caught, you know, I probably had never at that point seen all of them, you know, start to finish, but I had definitely seen the first one, and you know, and Escape from, like those were the two that I, you know, love the most, and you know, so I was really excited for this. I remember the hype leading up to it, you know, and the same reasons you guys talked about, you know, Tim Burton, Planet of the Apes. It's a perfect combination, you know. And I think like I'm a pretty easy mark as the listeners, you know, will know. I tend to like just about everything, you know. And for a long time, like I would say I like this movie and I would kind of defend parts of it, and you know, we'll get into the, like Jonathan said, the good stuff, and you know. But I had a realization watching it this time, like, I don't have to defend this movie anymore. Like, it's not on my shoulders to, like, you know, like, because we have
the whole thing's been rebooted again.
Exactly. So. We have other Planet of the Apes material now.
Yeah.
That I don't
it didn't
have
kill
to, like,
the franchise.
Yeah,
completely.
I don't have to really, like, take care of this one. And you know, so I definitely hit a wall here watching it this time. And, like, afterwards, I think I lightened up on it. But, yeah, I think that weight was off my shoulders of just like, oh, I don't have to, like, you know, love this movie or even like this movie anymore. I definitely like parts of it, but yeah, this one, you know, I watched it last year because I went to theater and saw Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and then like the following week I rewatched all of these. So I had seen it, but before then, probably hadn't seen it in 20 years. You know, I owned it on DVD and maybe watched it a couple times, but yeah, I definitely get the criticisms for it now.
I mean, when you look at this movie, you like the only way it could fail is studio interference, really, and that's what happened because
it's so obvious that there was studio interference.
Because I mean,
I highly recommend everyone listening go to the Wikipedia page and just read the development section. The
8 out of 10 actors in this are amazing. The only 2 that aren't is unfortunately our lead male and our lead female.
Yep.
And I'm not talking about Helena Bonham Carter. I'm talking about our human lady,
the other one,
man, are the worst part of the movie. Everyone else in this movie is crushing it.
Yeah.
Paul Giamatti is.
I love Paul Giamatti.
Amazing.
This is like peak Paul Giamatti.
Tim Roth, amazing. Even Charlton Heston is good.
Sure.
In it. Like everybody is in it that is great. As all the gorillas, they're all great.
Yeah. Michael Clark Duncan, amazing.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I don't have a big problem with Mark Wahlberg in this. Like,
hey bro, you wanna? Hey bro,
let's go.
Hey bro, I'm a scientist. I'm a monkey scientist, bro.
Let's go explain evolution to the monkeys.
Hey bro. I mean, it's so bad. It's I don't understand. Like, I give you that he's not like a bad actor in this. I think he's miscast.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think he's like doing a bad job. I think that what's her face is doing a bad job.
Estella Warren.
Oof.
And I guess in all fairness to her, like with what she's given, she's probably doing the best she can, but her character is nothing. No reason to be in this movie.
Completely pointless.
I read through
I did point at the movie theater because I forgot Chris Christopherson was in it.
Oh,
and I was like, hey, look, Chris Christopherson's here.
It's that guy from Millennium.
From Millennium. Yes. What a great reference. Chris Christopherson, star of that other weird ass sci-fi movie that no one understands. It doesn't make any sense. He falls in love with his own, whatever. It's like a snake eating its own tail.
Yeah,
that movie. It's great. Oh man. But yeah, I felt like they got, he got to be in these movies because you're like, who's a good guy? Who do we need in space? Chris Christopherson, that's a good one. Should we make him change his accent? Nah. No, but he should have a space. He should be space country. Yeah. Because that should work.
Right.
So this movie had a lot going for it, and it just and even the credits, like have you started yet? Are we started talking about the movie yet?
Okay.
Oh yeah.
The credits of it don't know what they want to do. They show space.
Right.
And then the next thing they do is they show like the Batman / Hellboy / Dragnet close up on thing. It's always close up on thing. And it's like moving slowly. And then it goes back to space. I'm like, why'd you show me space at the beginning?
Right.
Like you keep showing me space. I understand we're in space, but the 2 tones were being set in this movie and you can see it in the credits. And I'm like, all right, well, this is already going to be bad. But at least the best part of the movie is shown in the credits. The costumes.
Okay.
The costumes and the gorilla
that Tim Burton design of the armor and stuff. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, everything looks like a weird, like almost like a shell.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. The war helmets that they wear are very like what are they, like Nautilus, like that shell. Yeah.
Like the one obviously they had the one from the original movies.
Yeah.
And they're just like, okay, they all need to have weird ass hair, like weird ass helmets. Yeah. And so everybody else wears this cool swept back kind of Jimmy Neutron hair.
Somebody with it. Yeah.
Yeah. You could stab them with it basically. Basically the same design they use for the pod is the helmet. It like the pod is also a weird shape.
Yep.
So yeah, I really I was like, man, this stuff looks awesome. And then as I'm going into the movie, I'm trying to think about, I'm like, where are these gorillas in evolution? They seem to be very intricate and very good at building armor,
right?
And all this stuff. And then some of the stuff that you look at that they have, you're like, their chairs look like shit. Like their chairs are just like lashed together with sticks, but they have this beautiful armor. And I'm like,
there's no Eames, equivalent in the ape world.
And they're like right at the beginning, when a bunch of apes, the gorillas are like taking in the humans in the wagon and stuff. A couple of them are wearing these they look like Bane masks. They look
I
like
noticed
sci-fi
that.
Futuristic masks, and it's real so out of place.
Yeah, it's real. Like only a couple of them throughout the movie have those, and I don't know. And it again, if you read the sort of in development kind of stuff, or just read the Wikipedia, like. This movie was rushed, so I'm guessing that was like, hey, we don't have time to fit the mouth, piece in the makeup process. So just throw a mask on them and
we'll spray paint it.
Yeah, like fuck it, we'll do it live.
Right. Right.
But
and this movie also reeks of Tim. The good thing that usually Tim Burton is known for are these intricate sets. Instead, we get, I would say, what's the movie? My other gorilla movie that I love? My
Congo?
gorillas in, yeah, thank you. Bad monkey Amy. That, you know how like they're in the jungle and it's so bad.
It's
like
such a set.
Like the set.
Yeah.
Like this is like such bad sets. I
It
love
doesn't
this.
even feel, it feels
I
like
the
a
town they're in.
theatrical set. It doesn't even feel like a movie set.
When they go into the town, I'm like, oh, they're shooting a play. Are they doing a play in this?
I like it in that, like, when you think of the original, everything is out in the desert, and they live in huts, and everything's lashed together with vines and sticks, and like it's very primitive. Here, I like that it is a little bit more sophisticated, and I like that they incorporate the jungle into it, and they use
vines,
vines.
Vines.
They make use of the vertical space, like because now we can do an Apes movie where we can have these people on wires and move them around, and use their natural animalistic abilities to move around and stuff.
Right.
Like,
instead of making them walk around like C-3PO, like Roddy McDowell walks around kind of like C-3PO in the first movie.
I think that's one of this movie's like biggest strengths is that it's treating the apes like apes and letting them move like apes and trying to design the architecture around how apes move and how apes operate.
And how apes build chairs, obviously, which is bad. It's not good. And also, I loved if you notice the sweeping hand, even Thade does this when he is touching anyone, like even one of his soldiers, he will kind of like back of the hand to them, like almost like that's a gesture of,
I think that's an ape thing. Yeah,
it is an ape thing. Yeah.
I love those parts.
Yeah.
I'm sure they went to ape school. I'm sure there's a whole horrible behind the scenes video of them going to ape school and having to learn to ape.
And some of them do that really well, and some of them like look at Paul Giamatti when you first see him and he's descending a staircase, and he walks as an ape like no one else in this movie, but it seems so he walks pelvis first, like his belly is out and his arms are just like I don't know, it's so perfect the way
whereas
he moves.
Michael Clark Duncan walks like Michael Clark Duncan,
kind of, but actually who's probably the worst one in this is Carrie I forget how to pronounce his name.
It's Japanese.
Shang Tsung from the Mortal Kombat movie.
He's Carrie Hirokuri Tagawa. I apologize to everyone for pronouncing it incorrectly, but he's playing
the other gorilla, and he walks like he's a gorilla, so he should have power. He just walks this like
skull.
He shuffles.
And it kind of, in a way, it makes sense because he's like we'll learn like he's been defeated, so maybe he walks a little bit like with shame. Should have
given him like a limp or something.
He almost walks like he watched the movie Lion King and saw how Scar acts around Simba.
Sure,
and he always is like
submissive,
hunched over, and that is an animal thing.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
But all that stuff is just so good. Look, Helena Bonham Carter looks amazing in her costume. She's the closest. She's unfortunately the closest to human. Like they definitely humaned her up.
Yeah,
which is
they gave her Jennifer Aniston hair.
Yeah, they did give her Jennifer Aniston hair.
Yeah.
Good observation.
Especially in that one scene where she makes a trifle and she puts beef and peas in it. Oh.
Yep. I just to touch on the earlier stuff, I wish they would have cut out a lot of the space stuff at the start. We don't need, we don't need to meet this team out on the space station. Nope.
We get like character introductions to characters who are going to be gone in 5 minutes. It's so bizarre.
This is our Lost in Space moment. It's the same exact thing. They introduce us to 3 people. You're like, I don't give a shit. I'm never going to see him again.
Well, these people are going to fucking die.
Exactly. Think about the opening to the original. It starts with like a monologue from Charlton Heston where like everyone I ever knew is dead.
Right.
And no one will ever even hear that. Just he is resigned to like everyone I know is dead. The world I came from is long gone, and he's fine with it.
Well, they needed the actors because they needed some later on to have the timey-wimey third act reveal. Yeah. So they needed someone we knew.
Yeah. But Leo or Mark Wahlberg, he's still FaceTiming home, so he's still like, this, I don't know, the mission, I guess this mission plans to return
doesn't have
home.
that like Zen fatalism.
Right.
Like, I never understood that. Also, there's no point. It's not like an Alien where we know what they're doing out there.
Yeah.
They're space truckers.
You're right.
What are you doing?
We're in space and we're studying monkeys and
are we studying monkeys? We're doing other stuff too.
We're trying to teach monkeys to pilot these missions so that we can find out if humans can pilot through these, I don't know. Yeah.
Because the swirls come out of nowhere like this.
Right. They're not anticipating that.
No, that's not. They're not. It'd be different if they were like, we are checking out an anomaly.
Sure.
Also, it felt like, are they at Saturn when they start? This movie starts at Saturn,
that's
like outside of Saturn.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. No, that's not where they go.
Wormholes take them to somewhere else through time and space.
Yeah.
But I do like that once he crashes, he's off and running. I like that he crashes, he gets out of the ship, and then he sees humans running for their lives. And so I do like that aspect of it.
Yeah, it skips a whole, there's like a whole 20 minutes in the first movie after the crash before.
Yeah. That's
skip over all that
60s sensibilities. It's like, dude, you got to get to it. You can't.
Yeah.
And also, the worst costume in the movie is it's Marky Mark in that helmet, that horrible the helmet you buy at a Halloween store.
It doesn't connect to anything.
No, it's not attached in any way. Yeah. So, if that opens up, you're just gonna die in that helmet. That's not.
you're gonna die looking stupid.
Yeah, at least go out cool.
Yeah,
because later when you fly on the ship, you don't have a helmet on.
He does have. I think. Well,
not at the end. Not when he flies home.
Right.
He raw dogs it. He raw dogs his way home.
That's why. That's why he fails and goes to the wrong place.
Yep. I have a note. I do have a note. I wrote 5 words down about this movie. I don't usually write
this movie and Travis.
That's not what I wrote. I thought it, but first thing I wrote was Furry Road, because this movie is just Fury Road. It's a chase.
Okay.
The whole movie is we get to a place and then we got to go back to another place. That's
right.
The whole movie.
Okay.
And I was just like, hey, Furry Road. I'll write that down. That's funny.
And it's also got some weirdly sexual overtones with the apes that just doesn't work for me at all. It's really gross.
I don't know. I guess I'm a little more evolved than you. I don't mind if
I think that would be less evolved, actually.
No, if you want to have,
your own grandfather, you degenerate.
Yeah, maybe I'm into it. Maybe I like the fact that their hands and feet are also hands. I guess there's something to that.
Okay. But there's that one scene where the female ape comes in and the orangutan's on the bed.
Yes.
And she starts doing the hooting and hollering and everything. And that's odd.
I enjoy the fun,
I watched it with subtitles, and the sound that they make in the movie, they call it chittering.
Chittering.
They are all that's chittering.
Yeah.
They don't say ape noise.
Yeah.
It just says chittering.
Nice.
To someone that's never heard it, I don't like that. Chittering doesn't quite.
That doesn't quite convey what that
I
sound
think
is,
when I watched the Lord of the Rings movies, the subtitles for the orcs and goblins and stuff, they chitter a lot. There's a lot of chittering,
I think chitter. I think like birds or something.
Yeah, I think a high pitch,
maybe that sound that cats make when they're stalking a bird. Yeah.
So let's talk about the real hero of this movie, Rick Baker.
Yes,
absolutely.
And he got started, as far back as when they started developing this in the late '80s. He was attached to.
Of course he was. Well, who else? I mean, who else in the '80s and
Stan
'90s
Winston,
and 2000s?
Stan, Stan the man.
Stan's would be more gooey.
True. More KY jelly poured over them.
But so it's like once this version finally came around and he was reattached to it, it's like, well, I did all the work. He probably was able to use a lot of that stuff. I'm sure they developed new effects and technology and stuff to help him. But yeah, he had a good head start
because he worked on. He did. Was he? The Greystoke.
He did Greystoke. It was a whole list
Congo.
of 8 movies. Greystoke, the Mighty Joe Young reboot.
Right.
I think the King Kong from '76, maybe.
Okay.
He would have been very young for that
several.
one.
Yeah.
Several.
But I know he wanted, like, he's like, we can do this better. Like each
Yeah.
time they've done it, it's gotten better. I mean,
Mhm.
I wouldn't say they look realistic. They
Right.
look realistic as if they evolved into.
I think the chimps, aside from Helena Bonham Carter, I think most of the chimps look really good. I think most of the gorillas are okay. You know, the chimps are where they really like, you know,
like Tim Roth
nailed it.
is completely unrecognizable as Tim Roth.
No,
People
yeah.
think
If I
it's
didn't
him.
know, if I didn't know that was Tim Roth, I would be like, I don't know who this actor is.
Yeah.
Hey, they hired a chimpanzee.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But there are times where they insert like a little bit of CG to like make the mouths really big when they holler.
When they do the
Yes.
big roars, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like the color grading is all off, and you can tell that it's CG. It's early 2000s. What do you expect?
Because there
But
wasn't a ton of CG in this. I
Not
noticed
really.
there's
Doesn't
like a
seem like
really
it.
bad matte painting of the Gorilla City, whatever you want to call
Sure.
it, Gorlopolis. You know, there. When I saw that, I was like, "Oh, that feels Tim Burton, though. That feels like the foreground is like practical, and they kind of made a matte painting instead of CGing it. It's 2001. I guess he's trying to save some money. Look, all we have are these sets that we built for a play. Basically, it's like Monkey Macbeth. That's basically the sets we have. Also, we're confused. We don't know if they're Roman,
right,
or if they're medieval. Like, we can't quite decide what time frame we're doing. Like, again, I'm going into very particular stuff. I'm just like, okay, they have the Senate. They have a Senate.
Yeah,
cool. So that means they're
laws,
Roman.
and they have
because in the original movie, it's like lawgiver, like it's very had like sex and Roman. It felt very Roman-esque. And this one, when they first get there in the cart, there's a guy with the organ grinder.
Yes,
has a little
person.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, they made an organ grinder. That's, again, technology that I didn't think that medieval would have had.
Right.
But they haven't, I think, because they just want to do the joke that the organ grinder's ape. And
it is all over the place time-wise. When the humans escape after that first night, they pass by a gang of like street toughs in leather jackets.
They're wearing like leather jackets.
Yeah. So, they're just really pulling from any time period to make it.
Ooh, I got another note. Furiosa.
Okay.
Let's just keep that in. I'm just going to keep going with the furry road. Yeah,
okay.
It's just, that's not a note. I didn't write it down. That just came to my head. But, there is, I was like, I wanted them, again, I think it's rushed.
Yeah.
And because it's rushed, they're just like, whatever, man, just put it in there. But I wanted the world, I wanted to live in that world longer, but we'd leave it immediately.
Sure. We're there long enough to have like a dinner scene, which I like. I like the dinner scene with David Warner.
Oh, yeah.
Glenn Shaddix. I like it. Of all the actors, aside from Paul Giamatti, Glenn Shaddix is probably the next best. Like, he disappears under that makeup, and I've noticed a lot of the performances I think would be drastically improved if they would have gone back in and done ADR or voiceover for all of the in costume performers, because all the dialogue is unintelligible most of the movie.
Maybe give them smaller dentures in the ADR booth, so it still sounds like there's something in their mouth, but they can move their mouth.
Yeah.
Whereas half the stuff, you're like, oh Jesus, I don't even know what's coming out of there. Whereas Paul Giamatti talks like he's from Space New York, and it's amazing, and you're just like, oh, this is like he has almost no.
Yeah, and Glenn Shaddix, like I mentioned, he's playing the orangutan, dignitary, senator, or whatever at that dinner, and he's really only in that one scene, aside from like the bedroom scene later. But both what he's getting, like all he does is like lower his voice a little bit, so I talk like this,
He's like a Southern gentleman,
kind of,
They all have very distinct accents, and you're like,
and they're all over the place.
Where they would pick these up from, but they have them.
Like Helena Bonham Carter's got her British accent, which is weird because nobody else has a British accent in this univerce.
Yeah.
Also, none of the crew, it's from a U.S. naval ship, so there's no.
So where do all these accents come from?
Right.
It just, I guess it's like Star Trek. It's like infinite possibilities.
That's right. Yeah.
Maybe they all got really intelligent by watching a whole bunch of movies. Maybe that's what happened.
Yeah. Historical documents.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Still don't know where they got the horses, but whatever.
Oh, we're gonna get into that because I was like, where the fuck are these horses from?
I know that Jonathan has notes about horses.
I have no notes. I just told you I want to talk about the horses.
Yeah. We'll get there.
Basically what I want to say is, where are the horses? Where'd they come from?
The one thing I kind of struggled with watching this version is the idea of like in the original, humans are just vermin to the apes, or they're there to be studied. You know, they help with their science, you know, experiments and everything.
They're dumb animals.
Here they are being, you know, sold into slavery. They're being used as work animals and you know, house
they've
servants.
lost none of their language. They've lost none of their language and none of their. The only thing is they're poor.
Right. They're just
that's the only thing.
Basically.
Yeah.
It's not. I mean, we all get it. We all get what you're going for, Tim. Like it's not deep.
Yeah.
We get it. It's bad. But I was like, oh, so in these thousands of years, because they say they outnumber us 4-1 because they keep multiplying. I'm like, oh, okay. Why? There's no. At a certain point, there's no real difference between. I don't know how orangutan progeny and I don't know how chimpanzee and gorilla progeny works. Like, I don't know if they're prolific or just normal, what I would call normal. Like the humans, are they just fucking like crazy? Like what's going on?
That's the implication, you know, is that.
Yeah.
They're just like rabbits, I guess.
I have a problem with like the way that the humans are looked at by the characters, because there doesn't seem to be any real motivation there. Like
right
in the original Planet of the Apes, you know, Cornelius and Zira were interested in Taylor because he was suddenly talking, he was an anomaly, and Dr. Zaius didn't like the humans because he knew the secret about the humans destroying the world and all this stuff. In this movie, Thade hates humans because Thade hates humans.
Right.
Helena Bonham Carter's character likes humans because she likes humans. There's no reason.
Yeah, and she singles out, you know, like why does she single out Marky Mark other than is it just, I mean, it's Mark Wahlberg. Of course she's going to find him dreamy. Like that's almost what this movie kind of implies, is that, oh, she sees something unique about him, but no, you don't. He looks like every other human aside from he's got short hair and he's dressed slightly different, you know.
I feel like a lot of that could have been done easily, like at the script stage, you know, have Helena Bonham Carter's witness the actual crash and know that a human came out of that and know that it's this human somehow.
Or have him say something along the lines of, well, I crash landed and I don't know where I am. And for them to be like, well, crash implies that flight, and humans have no concept of flight. So how would this person, you know, have that concept, you know, something along the lines of like to imply that like he came from somewhere, you know, that, you know,
or just to have some piece of technology on him that was fascinating or something.
They basically made him not special. He's not special as a human because all the humans are humans.
Right.
And Christian Stars was like, hey, how you doing? Yeah, we're slaves. It sucks. And you're like, oh no, I kind of want you to be dumb.
I got to wrap up here and go shoot a Blade movie here.
Hey, you ever seen Blade? Well, by the way, that's my favorite. That's not only my first, but also my favorite movie. I did a comic book movie, in case you ever wondered.
But yeah, I wish that they, with the humans, I wish they had just gone the route of the original and just made them all mute. Or, you know, or when he arrives, maybe he's carrying a virus that gives them the power of speech, but like maybe he's carrying something, you know, just naturally that they've never been exposed to, and they slowly start to be able to speak or something.
I truly bet this is because of Battlefield Earth. Battlefield Earth, remember, had stupid humans, and then they had a ship that thing that makes you smart.
Okay, I never saw it. So
it sucks.
Yeah, that's what I hear. That's what I've heard.
You're a better person for it.
It sucks bad. And one of the things is that humans are dumb.
Okay.
Like they do not speak. And and then John, I'm just going to say this sentence out loud. John Travolta then takes one of the dumb ones, Barry Pepper, and puts him in a machine with a guy who has a mushroom for a head and some other race that they whatever conquered, and this thing is to teach him because he's too dumb to be useful for John Travolta.
Okay.
So he basically pumps up the thing, gets him smarter.
Yeah.
But then
he's making it sound better than it is.
Can
we do that movie too?
Absolutely.
Oh, fucking yeah. Oh, yeah. I want to do that movie because that movie, see, that's the one that I think should have been done by Tim Burton. It's weird as shit. It's crazy. But yeah, that's what I think. I bet you that it's in direct relation to that. It had come out a year before. And they're like, we can't do dumb humans again. Or people are going to be like, hey, like Battlefield Earth, they're dumb again. But I also, to him not being special, Chris Christopherson should not have been in this movie.
Nope.
There's no reason for him.
Nope.
They should have had everybody be just people. People.
Just animals that,
Christopher shows up and I'm like, what the fuck is this movie? I'm like, oh, maybe he'll sing.
Right.
That's what I was hoping. Like a sing. And then, Nova, her name's not Nova. What's her name in this? What is...
I keep calling her not Nova. I can't remember.
Not Nova.
Oh, yeah.
Dana?
I had to find out through the Wikipedia what her name was. It's Dana. Yeah.
D-A-E.
It's D-E-A or D-A-E, N-A. But
does he even say her name in this movie?
Nope.
I don't think her name is ever
she
said.
Kisses him. I'm like, you didn't earn this.
Nope.
And again, it's not her fault.
No.
It's the script's fault. But I'm like, this was not earned.
She's in this just to look good. She gets no dialogue of consequence.
And to look mad when...
yes, to create a love triangle. Yes, we'll get into that. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, yeah, there's that scene where General Thade, Tim Roth, he gets told by some guards, you better come with us, sir. We found something. Yeah. And they go out into the woods where where Leo crash landed, and he then kills those guards. And
this is before his dad tells him the secret, right?
Yeah. So that was weird. Like, what does he already know?
Right.
And why is it so important to keep it a secret, to kill your own people, just to keep the secret? Like, we have no reason to know, or nothing to tell us.
In a better script, Thade would have already known the secret of humans and everything, and that would make it all make sense. And also, this scene could serve as a precursor to like him having somebody pull the ship up out of the water, which would help salvage some of the ending nonsense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of wanted them to see the technology and kind of like not figure it out.
Yeah.
But just this is
the human
old gun that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Oh, he smells the gun.
Right. Yeah.
But I wanted there to be more. And also, what that fiery heart.
Yeah.
Did that have any significance to anyone?
Nope. It's just
from other movies.
Art. I don't think so.
Art.
That's the thing. And it's in the opening credits.
Yeah. It's
I can't build a chair, but I could build a shit out of a weird heart sculpture.
Yeah. It's just part of the cultural ape art. Yeah, I don't know.
I do like that Charlton Heston's one big role in this movie is to give the bad guy a gun.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
I read that Tim Roth, I think it said like
Tim Roth hates him.
He hated him, and if he knew he would have had to have done a scene with him, he wouldn't have signed on or something like that.
Right.
Like, I don't think Charlton Heston cared. I don't think he knew who Tim Roth was. I don't think he cared, if he was aware of the animosity there. But yeah, it sounds like Tim Roth was very like, oh, I have to work with this guy. So yeah, because of all the NRA,
well, of
stuff.
Course,
so yeah. Like you said, it's basically a chase movie, and they don't even spend a night there, and they escape and take some of the apes with them. And it's funny when they escape, it's like, I guess the apes don't really believe in doors, because like they just go from room to room. I think just going through like beaded curtains, and like all the rooms have open air fronts, but are all connected. It's an odd, like, let's just show all these fun little vignettes. They'll go through, the room with the orangutan senator, and her name's Nova, his sort of consort.
Yeah, true.
They gave her the name of Nova. That's Lisa Marie. That's the Tim Burton's like muse from the early movies.
Yeah. She's like a gorilla hooker.
I don't think so.
Is she?
I think she's just what does it call her in the Lisa Marie, companion. Okay, well, maybe, yeah, maybe she's
an
like
escort.
Yeah, she's a friend.
She's
they go through all these rooms, and like, so we get them, freaking out that humans are running through, and I forget what the other ones are, but whatever. But
I hate that it ends with them like running into Helena Bonham Carter, who's I don't even remember her name either.
Yeah, Ari, Ari. Yeah,
weird.
Yeah.
Do they ever say people's names in this movie?
Not much, not
really.
many. Yeah.
Anyway, I hate that she has this like cliche. When I was a kid, I used to like hide outside the walls of the city where no one could find me, and it's just so painful. It's so painfully contrived, and I hate it.
I read it at some point she was going to be a princess, so I guess that was probably a holdover from like that idea of like the princess who would sneak out of the castle and that kind of stuff.
Right.
I'm sure that's where that comes from.
That actually does make a lot of things click a little more. That if she used to be a princess, a lot of things start to make more sense.
Yeah.
Like Thade trying to court her.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah,
rebellions are built on hope. So basically she goes with them along with her man General Kroll. Great name.
Yeah.
Kroll.
Yeah, good name.
Love that movie.
And they leave to go on a giant chase to go to Kali Ma, and to which I was like, oh shit, this is gonna be some shit from the ship, isn't it?
Just like,
and I didn't remember, like I couldn't remember caution live animals, so
right.
I didn't remember far enough to know. And also here again, this is where I jump out of the movie. At the beginning of the movie, in the really close-up stuff, some of the helmets have script on them, like a language.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not English, so how do they know what Kali Ma is? It says Kali Ma.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
To which I was like, oh my god, because like I assumed those apes the original ape Simo, the ape above all, the originator of this. I assume they could read English because modern apes
got to hit the buttons and stuff. Yeah,
buttons. No, their buttons had weird little symbols on them. None of them had words. But I was like, oh, why do they know English?
Yeah.
So
who knows? Yeah.
Again, this movie. Hey guys, this movie has some problems.
It doesn't even explain why the apes are super intelligent. Like at one point, Mark Wahlberg at the beginning says something about genetic splicing.
Hey, bro, your genetics are awesome, bro.
Yeah.
You're totally ready, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Science, bro.
Other than at the end when we get the video coming through the crash ship or the Mayday video, it's like. Oh, the apes are really helpful and strong. We had no idea that they were, going to be so strong.
They're much smarter than we thought they were.
Yeah, so that's the throwaway sort of
because how many years
explanation?
Okay. It's been at least a couple thousand.
That's what they say. Yeah.
They flash through the year counter goes when he
but it doesn't go 2,000 years.
I want to say I saw 2,400 yeah.
Yeah, it goes up a couple hundred, but like at one point in the movie, I think it's
twice. Ari says it.
Thousands of years or something. Yeah,
it says thousands of years ago, so they know what years are.
Yeah,
and they've had a society long enough to have 1,000. To which I was like, "There's no way that planet in 2,000 years isn't overrun with humans at the level at which they seem to grow." Because there don't seem to be any predators on this planet either. Not like Predator the movie, but like
now that
would be amazing.
A better movie.
That's what we need.
That's what I'm talking
Planet
about.
of the Apes versus
Thade
Predators.
versus Predator. I'd see that.
Oh shit, that'd be awesome actually. But there don't seem to be any animals. We never see nothing.
Right.
No fizz gigs or any sort of weird gleek globs.
Blase tree goats.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think there's I'm trying to think of the original. And there's no indication that there's any other creatures on the planet, other than horses.
Out there by the forbidden zone, so there's not even a whole lot of plant life on the original.
If you're not going to put a glub shitto into the movie, I don't know if I want to watch it. I appreciate a glub shitto every once in a while. You know that reference, right?
I don't, but
go look it up if you need it. It's like a Wikipedia thing for glub shitto. He is a Star Wars Cantina. There's a guy named Glub Shitto.
Okay, this guy.
It's just fucking. He's the worst. He looks like a cat man with a giant
this guy.
Beard.
Yeah.
He's Glub Shitto. My kids and I laugh at it all the time. make fun of it. So now we call anybody in a movie like a movie where they're not going to actually name the animal. Like it's Glub Shitto. It's just some weird fucking thing. It's awesome. So yeah.
Nice.
That's pretty good. I like that.
Yeah. But yeah, this is the movie feels small.
It's at least it is straightforward, you know.
Yeah. It's 139 an hour 39. So easy.
Yeah. And I like that, you know, his motivations are extremely clear. Hey, I got this transponder. It's telling me my ship is that way or my crew is that way. I'm heading that way. And I do like that, like, everyone just follows him. And when they get there, they find the ship and everyone's bummed out that it's a ruin. They're like, you know, Leo even says, I didn't promise them anything. like you guys assume, you know, that everything.
Like he has his moment to give an inspirational speech, and he's basically just like, "Everybody go!
Yeah,
okay, let's go!" Like, good job, Mark.
So they figure out there's just enough gas in it to.
Well, let's not get there yet.
Okay,
okay. Back up.
Where do you want to go?
I want to talk about
water. Can we talk about
let's talk about apes swimming. Yep.
We've had this argument. We had an argument last night about this.
Yes, we did.
The movie says apes can't swim.
Right.
I said they can, and you said they're not good swimmers, and they don't try.
Biologically, they're not designed to swim. Their bodies do not
They're not as buoyant as humans, but they probably could swim if they put effort into it. I don't know. I honestly don't know the answer to this question.
You could probably train a chimp to swim, probably. But yeah, naturally they're just not swimmers. You know, they're just not. You know, the thing I read, there are a couple like smaller monkeys that can swim, but apes, you know,
don't. You think that in 2,000 years they are becoming more human-like, that they would fucking figure it out at a certain point,
right?
Or just develop floaties or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
but yeah, that next scene, they kind of go to there's like a camp. I guess on the way to Kalima, they've got like bases of little camps of people.
Which makes sense if you think about it. Like that's where the military would the military camp, all their army isn't going to be in the city. You know, that's pretty standard, I think, with any sort of.
I always thought that was set up because
stuff,
they knew where they were going. Like they knew they were headed to Kalima. Like
I don't think it was that. I think they just happened to be there was a military, you know, a camp.
Because they've been there because when the general gets there, he's like, you guys are kind of fuck ups. I'm taking over.
Yeah.
When Attar gets there, he's like,
this
they're like playing dice or whatever they're playing.
Cards,
they're playing Yet again, they're playing cards. What year is it, guys? What are you? What era are you in? I got to know.
Yeah.
When did cards come into play?
Yeah, I mean, just parallel development. I like that. I mean, it comes at the right time because like, we need an action scene here. So when they ride through the camp because essentially this military camp is like, it's an obstacle at this point. We have to get through it. We're going to steal their horses. We're going to ride the horses through the river and get to the other side. And so it's a good enough little action scene. There's a nice element of like the apes have fire, the humans have water. So like, I get what we're doing here, Tim Burton, you know, but it's effective. And then, they play on the whole swimming thing, water thing where she gets trapped and, you know, he has to go back for her and swim across with her. And it just kind of strengthens their bond. And
I love that she almost kills him.
Yeah.
She's got her like hands on his face.
I love
that. Yeah.
And that wasn't Marky Mark. Like when that scene when there's someone on his back, that's not Mark Wahlberg going into the water. I'm like, seriously, Mark, you couldn't like do the scene.
Right.
You see his stunt double a few times, like when he falls off the horse. That's also
sure.
That one makes sense. I don't want to fall off a horse. Speaking of which, where the fuck are the horses coming from, guys?
Yeah, right.
I mean, this planet just has some natural.
It has horses.
It just sure.
So these are the aliens, space horses.
Yes, these are space horses.
They should look like space horses.
Yeah, they should have like weird Glub Shitto stuff on their face.
The original Planet of the Apes had horses. I give this a pass.
Well, that made sense because that was Earth.
Sure.
Hey, at least in the movies, they were also training horses to fly ships, so that when it crashes, I'm like, okay, they got horses and apes. That's all we got: horses, apes, and humans. The three things we brought, and oranges. For some reason, we brought three things. because you don't get scurvy in space.
Yeah, that's the number one killer in space.
Yep.
Scurvy.
Well,
And also, why did they bring anything? Like, why did they bring gorillas and orangutans on the ship instead of just?
Why would you bring gorillas?
Yeah, really.
Bring the small chimpanzees. That's fine. No. We need something that can rip our arms off. What if we need to rip someone's arm off while we're on a ship? Oh, okay. Let's use them. Oh, by the way, we're going to make them super smart.
Right.
This is a terrible idea.
So Thade wants to go after the humans and asks the Senator David Warner,
Senator Sandar,
give me
absolute
martial
power.
law, give me absolute control, make me a dictator, basically. There's no motivation for him. There's no like development of that. It's just, I just want control. There's no build up to it. I think he's already had that,
it's completely
in mind.
Like
this is just the road for him to get, control that he's always wanted for, I guess, reasons,
It has a very Star Wars port.
The movie would have played out exactly the same without it. He's still the general.
He doesn't need absolute control to chase after these guys.
Right.
And you're just going after 5 humans and, a couple renegade apes,
Yep.
So it's, I don't know. There's a little bit of that's like,
and one senator can give him absolute power.
Sure.
That seems like a really bad system of government.
Right. Yeah. It was odd that I like that Paul Giamatti as Limbo goes along with our our heroes. It's odd that he was like able to get to them with his 2 henchmen before anybody else could get to them. It's like, I get why we want him with this crew, but the how and why is kind of like, okay, whatever.
He's the same vibe as the guy. I'm bringing up the Mummy again.
Yes.
Remember the Mummy, the guy who
Benny.
No, not Benny. The other one, the little fat one.
Yep.
Who gets the scarab in his head?
Yes.
Oh yeah, that guy.
That guy. I was like, this kind of feels like he was just like, I'm going along for the prophet.
Yeah. Same vibe. Yeah.
Yeah. So he wanted his merch back.
Yeah.
Oh, the coins. Yeah. The fact that that has economy. Also, I'm like,
but he never gets paid for any of the Thade comes by and buys a little human for his niece, who he terrifies.
House. Yeah.
Doesn't pay for it. Yeah. Then Ari comes in and gets, Leo and Dana and doesn't pay for him, but
it's like banana credit. It's like just credits in something we don't know about. Maybe apes. See, that would have also been something that would have given depth to the apes. Maybe the apes can't cheat each other. Maybe there's no, and maybe that's why
ape doesn't lie to ape.
Ape doesn't hurt ape. Ape on ape. Whereas Thade is always killing these guys.
Sure.
So I feel like he's like the messed up one because we find out later he's the direct descendant of Simo.
Yeah,
and Simo's the one, like the bad one.
Yeah, they revere him as their god, but the truth is that he was a bad ape.
He's a dick.
Yeah, he's just an asshole. The scene with Thade and Charlton Heston, like, I think I like the scene. I like that it gets,
that's a good scene.
That there's a secret, that he's been passing down family to family, generation to generation. I like all that. I think it's pretty well played, and you can't tell that one of these guys hates the other one. So
acting.
Yeah.
I liked this part where, like, basically he's just kind of up in him. But again, you're right. If Thade had already known this, it would have helped. But also, his hatred of humans should stem somewhere. It should stem from the knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, you can kind of like ad hoc an explanation is that he was just raised that way because his dad knew it, but that's not satisfying at all.
No, yeah. There's once the humans are, they're making it through like I guess they just get to the forbidden zone,
which is from the original movie, right?
Yes.
There was also a forbidden
zone.
Yes.
And one of my favorite, like, just visual things from that first movie is those scarecrows that they encounter, and they do them here too. And I love that they include that. They barely change them. They pretty much look, exactly the same. I really appreciate that about.
They actually look a little better, honestly.
Yeah. Probably.
Those scarecrows look better than their chairs. I'm gonna keep shitting
You're
on
real
those
hung
chairs.
up on those chairs.
They're really bad, guys. They're really bad compared to all the other stuff they have. Like, their table looks beautiful, like it's carved out of mahogany. It looks beautiful, and it's just like burp, these like Swiss Family Robinson chairs. It just doesn't make any sense. Gilligan's Island chairs. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, then I feel like we get another encounter with like we see I think it's like when they're all camped out by the fire after they've crossed the river, they're all hiding out. We get more like exposition or good, like honestly good chemistry with Leo and Ari, with Wahlberg and Helena Bonham Carter. Like the two of them are really good together, but all it does is like show, like they'll show those two together and then they'll cut to, Dana, who's like upset, that they're having a moment over there. It's like they keep driving that whole love triangle home. It's like, oh, do you remember that your dad just died? Like maybe that's what your mind would be on, but no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Chris Christopherson gives his own life. We didn't even talk about that. He gives his life. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, he just throws away his life because he was like holding his side. Like maybe he was previously injured, but if they ever showed that, I don't
think they even showed it. Like when they went to go like rescue him, he was already hurt.
Yeah, he died off screen.
Yeah,
basically. Yeah.
That's kind of
it's that cool kamikaze moment with the spear, but that's all.
I thought David Warner was dead because when he comes back, when Thade comes, like, Senator Sandar gave me the
right.
I was like, I bet he just killed.
That would have made sense. Like, yeah, give us that. Make it like Commodus and Marcus Aurelius in Gladiator.
Kill him and then be like, the humans killed him.
Right.
We need to go after him.
That's why we need to. Yeah. Oh, why? That would be a perfect moment is for Thade to come out and say, the humans, they killed my father and they killed, Sandor. So
yeah. And this human, Chris Christopherson, they killed Chris Christopherson.
Yeah.
The death of Thade's father is also kind of just glossed over.
Yeah.
Like, he talks to Michael Clark Duncan, and Michael Clark Duncan just gives like this pat. Yeah, he was a great man anyway.
And now, because you were the descendant of Semos, you will lead us all, just very expositional.
And let's talk. Well, you can talk about his character at the end.
Sure.
Yeah.
Did you like how Charlton Heston's kind of dressed like a Skeksis, laying in that bed? When I looked at his little outfit, he's got kind of a Chamberlain's outfit on, and I was like, I kind of like that.
Yeah. I read in the Wikipedia that he is uncredited as Zaius, but that makes no sense. That's just an
orangutan.
Yeah, that would just be fan servicey kind of thing. But that was odd. So I'm glad they don't name him.
Maybe his name is Zaius.
Yeah, yeah.
He's not a real doctor though, because they don't have medical school there.
That's right. Yeah, Mr. Zaius, Mr.
Zaius, like Mr. Doom.
That's right.
Fall back.
We don't. Jonathan and I do not respect
doctors who haven't earned it.
No, well, specifically Doom's doctorate. We don't.
It shows in the movie that he had to leave college.
That's right.
After he burned his face, he did not finish.
That's right.
That's a good point.
So show us that certificate, and then maybe we can talk.
But must be one of those online.
He might be BA Doom. He might have a bachelor's of arts. But let's be honest.
Same with
undergraduate Doom.
R.A. Doom.
I only got my associates. I'm an associate Doom. I need 2 more years. I'll get there.
Another like fan servicey thing that I absolutely love is when they make it to the spaceship. They obviously lay it out so it looks like the crown sort of thing from the statue, and they even do the shots where they're on horses and they're shooting through the crown little spires. Like, I really like that. That's cool. A nice little homage. So that works.
I'm just glad the ship landed upright, because if it had landed on its side or upside down, this movie would be fucked.
We wouldn't have a big gun for the third act.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember how the Kali Ma thing played out, because they mentioned Kali Ma so late. Like, oh, we're headed to Kali Ma. Okay, what the hell is that? And then we get there like a couple minutes later. It's like, oh, right, the caution live animals things. Okay, fine, that's fine. But it does bring up questions like, how do they?
Which is a weird sign to have. a weird sign to have on a ship where you are testing these animals. Like you knew. Is there not someone on the ship that went, "Oh shit, they're fucking live animals on here"?
Yeah.
No, that's the reason you went. It's like if you were on a U.S. Navy ship and it said caution wet. You'd be like, yeah, I assume it's wet. I assume things are wet. That's just I assume.
Yeah.
Oh, caution live horses would have been better.
Yes.
And then I would have gone, aha.
No, they should have just had a sign that, under that said stables with an arrow pointing.
I would have paid real money to see a horse dressed in that white suit that the monkey's in and walking by, just clomping by, just a little helmet,
just walking through the scene,
giant helmet, and you're like,
it's Ho-Has Ekwash, the horse pilot.
There goes Clompy, horse pilot. See ya, buddy.
You're from around here? Nay.
Hey, why the long face?
How do you guys feel about this whole thing of the secret, the big reveal here of the apes
Fart
came
noise.
from the humans who landed here, and all the apes are descended from these caution live animals? Like,
dumb.
Okay,
I actually don't hate it. I think it's executed a little poorly, but
it's a little obvious. Yeah.
I'd have been better if it wasn't Kaliman, it was something else, and they just found out that they were. They didn't need to have the fun caution live animals thing. That pulled me out of it.
Okay.
I've been fine if they'd gotten there and something in the ship, because when he goes to the ship, he finds out they were looking for him, and that's why they crashed.
Right.
If we'd seen Simo's cage, because there would have been an ape on there that he didn't know.
Yeah.
Simo was that ape.
Right.
If Simo's cage had been on there, then he could have put it together. Hey, bro, look what's going on. Bro, I think I'm putting it together. I've got all the pieces now. Instead, they have to be like, caution live animals. It means Kalima.
Yeah.
That's lame. Lame.
Don't disagree on that. Yeah.
So, yeah, there were a lot of better ways. But again, they would have had to then talk about the rest of the crew, and no one cares about that crew.
But, yeah, and I don't know if they say how many humans were aboard that ship, but
enough for fucking.
Clearly, because once they, show all the tribes have now
There's
come.
so many.
There's so many. So yeah, apparently, humans just breed like crazy.
And those were really good human costumes. Those guys looked exactly like humans.
All animatronic. Yeah, that's where all the budget
and they could speak
went.
and everything. It was awesome.
Yeah.
One thing, because we were talking about Michael Clark Duncan, before we get to him, the one thing that made me sad, but also made me love him a little bit more because he was the greatest, was when he was on the Green Mile when he got this script and was asked to be in this, and they're like, "Would you like to be in Planet of the Apes?" He's like, "It's not to be a human, is it?" Like that's the first thing he asked. And it's just they're like, "Yeah, you're 9 feet tall. We want you to be a giant gorilla. Sorry."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh man." That was the other thing I wrote down. Rest in primate. That's all. I have.
Nice.
But
it would have been a better movie if he had been the human character.
Yeah. He could have been Leo.
Yeah.
He could have been the star of the movie. I'd have been fine with that.
That'd been great.
Just him running around. Because he's big enough that if a gorilla grabbed him, he could at least be like hold him for a second before the gorilla.
Yeah.
Because in this movie, the gorillas are basically superhuman.
Sure.
They're ripping
even
spines.
the chimps are too. Yeah.
Well, I mean, in real life, chimps are very strong.
They are. Yes. But they're not punting people across,
Well, there's that. Yeah, but there's
when
a
we
lot
get to
of
the end, I do want to talk
about spring stunts in this movie.
Talk about human smells, and then I did enjoy Paul Giamatti taking a bath upside down with flowers.
Yeah,
that was very
that's
fun.
fine.
That was fun.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say I liked that scene.
It's cute. Yeah.
Okay, go on.
What else? Oh, there was like another throwaway moment where I don't know, Ari, Helena Bonham Carter gets butthurt about, gets her feelings hurt because Leo looked at Dana. And so she decides, I'm going to go back to the ape camp. And it's like, they play it like she's a spurned lover, That was an edit because she goes to that camp. Yeah.
And then she's just back by Leo's side.
Right. Yeah.
I was like, did you just fart off to the camp and not tell anybody and then come back and everything's good?
Yeah. She goes there to try to make a deal with Thade of like, I will be your, concubine if you let them go. Mm-hmm. And then he rejects her, brands her, sends her back. So it's just a stupid, like, it almost works as a, I'm going to sacrifice myself and be a hero and save everybody. But it because the motivation is, oh, he looked at that other girl and that makes me sad. So I'm just going to leave. You know, it's so thinly veiled, love triangle. And the best part about all of that, he doesn't care about either of them. And he at no point does he ever have any second thought about staying. You know, once his ship gets there, he's like, fuck all this, I'm out of here. You know?
Even not Nova says like, maybe you'll come back, and he's just doesn't say anything.
No, I don't think.
Okay.
I wish he palmed her face and pushed her away.
Go away now.
The only person that he has any sort of rapport with is Pericles.
Yeah,
he does love Pericles.
Yeah.
Pericles gets hugs and kisses, whereas not Nova. You're like, ugh, no one cares.
Yeah.
She's broken anyway because her dead dad. She's like, she's a mess.
But the other thing about that scene where Helena Bonham Carter gets branded, I like that they use that brand as a plot device later.
Sure.
Thade is trapped and she shows her hand to say, I'm not going to help you.
Yeah.
But that would have been a lot more effective if they hadn't used it as a plot device like 4 other times before that.
And why would he have a brand ready to go in the fire?
Yeah, it's already
at
hot
this
and everything.
Camp? Yeah. It's so.
When I get to the camp, I have a rider. I have a Thade rider, and one of the riders is, one, my horse always has to be here.
Yep.
2, I always have to have
brown
a cauldron.
M&Ms.
Red M&Ms. Some sort of. I'm trying to think of one of those fucked up chairs. I know we all hate them. I gotta have one because I hate standing, and then always a cauldron with a brand sitting inside of it.
That's
waiting.
Right. I like to mark all my shit
though, to pull in your chair with your feet.
Yeah. There is. I do want to talk about like the one thing that'll turn the tide for them once Leo figures out, oh, this ship still has fuel in it. Is we have this one chance to like use the ship as a gun once, and they do it. And the thing I love about it though is just the wide shot where they have this giant fireball and 1,000 monkeys just ragdolling through the air.
And you're like,
that's pretty great.
And you're like, oh, I guess he's not trying to have peace. Like, Leo at no point is going to be like, we should all work together. You blew up like 1,000 of us. Yeah,
but most of them then get up.
Yeah,
like
I
it
saw
doesn't
that.
really
I was like, oh, are they trying to?
Most of them.
It's PG-13ing it.
Yeah. So it
So
really
then they
just
show a
had to
whole
die,
lot of
right?
violence. Like the humans come in to like just beat on them
They
before
just
they can
bash them in
get
the
up.
head.
The
fight is decent. I don't mind this fight. It's nice and chaotic and everything.
One dude gets a nondescript spine.
Yeah,
punch.
he's kind of one of the crew. He gets like just his back gets broken. I think Eric Avari, who's like one of the house, servants who's been along with our crew, he kind of gets the same day. Yeah. Bonnie
he gets
Bonnie
picked up and slammed down and then smashed.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. And then the Kroll, he gets a one-on-one fight against Michael Clark Duncan and ends up gets killed. I really like when Pericles comes back, just blows everyone's mind. This ship just lands perfectly, and the little chimp gets out of it, and then he runs into the ship, and then that takes, I think Leo goes after him, and then the Thade goes after both of them, and I like that becomes a standoff down in the ship. I really like that whole sequence with Thade and Leo. Then they fight over a gun and all that stuff. I absolutely love where it goes with the gun, where he gets trapped into that little room with the bulletproof glass. I love that. That's his ending.
Shooting it because he's so angry and he's just jumping around, which
has
already been established.
After 2,000 years, my handprint still works.
Yeah. I don't like how that starts though. I feel like Pericles' arrival, the most contrived thing in any movie.
Yeah.
It's so easy to fix. Like you could just have like like Leo, when he turns on the computer, he turns on all the power, he sees that there's some kind of distress signal or something, and he pushes the button, and that's going to call Pericles to him. Like,
yeah,
it's so easy to fix.
For me, it works because the timing of everything is already, like the first person to go into the wormhole was Pericles. Then Leo is the second person, and then we find out, here that the Oberon at some point went into the wormhole, and they were the first to arrive. It kind of went not reverse
it's like
order.
a backwards
I guess it went.
thing.
It goes reverse order. So that works, I guess, for him to be the last one to arrive, even though he was the first one. And it's all just,
But it's only been like a day.
Yeah, but.
Oh yeah, how long has he been? Has he been there a day?
Pretty much, or they showed them camping out. Yeah, they
maybe 2 days.
He gets captured at in the daytime when he's on the wagon. It's nighttime when they're having like the dinner. Then they escape in that night, and then they walk through the desert for a day. Yeah, so it's been two days or whatever. It might be the third daytime
before Monkey Jesus arrives.
That's right. Yeah. I love that kind of final shot of Thade where he's cowering underneath the ship, whatever, just cowering because he's just like he's at his end. He doesn't know what to do. So,
and he's like shivering almost.
He's panting. That. I really like that shot.
I went and looked up Pericles. Pericles is considered the first Athenian.
Okay,
and he was big on democracy. And also, he was one of the lasting freedoms they created was freedom of expression was during his time. So I was like, okay.
What does that have to do with this?
I don't know.
I wish, speaking of Pericles and that whole naming thing, I wish that like the Oberon is the ship that they're the space station. Isn't Oberon a Shakespeare thing?
Well, yeah, he's from The Tempest. He's
okay.
The monster, right?
I'm not certain, but I'm and maybe Oberon also comes from like Greek mythology or something, but I kind of wish it was all like cohesive, like Pericles.
Midsummer Night's Dream. That's right.
Okay.
He's the king of the fairies.
Either like the space station, if you're going to go with a Shakespearean reference, then all the Pericles shouldn't be called Pericles. You should be called Puck, or some sort of like make it all a naming convention. Or if you're going to go with Pericles, then name the space station Olympus, or something like connect it all, but
keep it all in the same mythology.
I mean, this is going to sound like a dig, Travis, but Oberon is the second largest moon of Uranus. My anus? Yes, yours. So nice. None of the stuff in even Leo's name is supposed to have.
There you
Leo
go.
is lion. It's like and Davidson is like David's son. It's like they're trying to go for like a
and
Christ
Simos
figure.
Just sounds like Jesus.
Yes, Simos
is Jesus, and Kalima is from Temple of Doom.
Yeah,
Kalima.
And that's why the heart's there.
Yeah.
Kalima.
Now it's all making sense.
Yeah, there you go. It all ties together.
This is a much better movie we're writing.
This is so good. They thought
if we throw some Temple of Doom and some Predator in there, boom.
My God, how good would a ape Predator movie be?
That would be fucking great.
And they could do it. That's the thing. Now
I feel like Dark Horse would have done that by now.
All those franchises, everything. You could do a Planet of the Apes versus Predator. So,
well, I'm gonna make sure it hasn't happened.
You'd think it would happen in comic form.
Comics, of course. Yeah. Predators fought even Archie in the comics.
Yeah. Green Lantern and Planet of the Apes have crossed over, which is weird considering the ownership of all that. But
it exists.
Okay,
great.
there you go.
There's a couple certainties in life: death, taxes, and a Predator crossover.
It might only be fan art. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's good.
No, it's good. Yeah, that counts.
Yeah. Like
what
I
are
said,
comics if not fan art?
That's right. So it kind of ends with him, he has a kiss with Helena Bonham Carter, and then
just because the not Nova feels bad, he kisses her too.
Yeah, she definitely kisses him. He is as indifferent as indifferent could be.
And then he takes Helena Bonham Carter and Dana and puts them together and makes them kiss because he's like, what if we try this?
Let's try all the combinations, you know.
And then he has the horse kiss one of the orangutans. He's just like, I'm trying stuff, guys. We're just
that could have resolved the love triangle.
Putting shit together.
Yeah. Ari and not Nova get together. There you go.
Yeah.
They can have their
that always works.
Yeah.
There's a love triangle. Everyone should just kiss.
Doesn't matter if you're a chimp, you can scissor parts. It's fine.
It's a very progressive future.
You know, speaking of all that, one of the, you know, drafts or one of the sort of in development stories was going to be, there was a half human, half ape child that had to be protected, you know, from, you know, probably the gorillas or, you know,
it's
something.
Not unique to this version of Planet of the Apes. It's something that keeps popping up as like they wanted to do
it. They really want to do that.
No, thank you.
They tried to burn
that
TV
thing
show
with fire.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't want to see a half ape, half human.
Luckily, it's never happened, but they keep trying.
Well, because the weird thing is they did it half ape. They did it down the right. So it's half on
it's like
that
the Star Wars or Star Trek alien.
It's a glove.
But he's ape on the left
He's
side.
a real glove.
I'm ape on the right side.
The real glove shitto is the half ape you've met along the way. Oh my god.
Oh, and I do want to share one of the other like in development hell stories that one of the Fox execs was bound and determined to make whenever they rebooted Planet of the Apes, he was like, it should be a comedy, right? Like the astronaut should show up and the apes just can't figure out baseball. So and he shows up and he's like, oh, here's what you need. You need a pitcher. And then he shows them how to do baseball and
Bad News Bears.
Mr. Baseball.
Yeah. He kept having like he was bound and determined to get baseball into one of these scripts. So
if you want it to be a comedy, you should hire Marky Mark as the main character and then have Chris Christopherson in the movie. It'll write itself.
Yeah.
I don't know what you did it, guys. Mission accomplished on a lot of that stuff. And then have Paul Giamatti play somehow a New York shyster.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty. There are good parts to this movie, but like I said before, it's not the script.
It's mostly the pre-production, the stuff that Rick Baker and his team did, and
that's
some of the design stuff is good. The movements are really good, you know. But yeah, the falls apart.
The acting
story
from everybody except Mark Wahlberg.
And Dana.
Yeah.
And why, you know, and that's where the movie ends. He just goes up into space, and
there is nothing after that.
Nope. Nothing else.
So he goes to the space butthole and goes back to where he's supposed to go because that's how space buttholes work.
Yep.
And now he's back at Saturn or Uranus, whatever you want.
Sure.
And he flies home, that ship flies home, and then he doesn't land. You know what? I don't think he knows how to land.
He doesn't know how to land, and
why is he teaching the monkeys if he doesn't know how to land?
Yeah, he jokes that Pericles like lands better than he could. And like why doesn't he know how to land these goddamn ships?
So he goes home and he's in Washington D.C.
Yeah.
Why does he decide to go to D.C.? Like he even like plots it in. Like
I don't know if
that's
because that's where all the landmarks are, and we need a landmark to call back to the original movie.
Bro, I'm trying to hit Philly. I'm gonna try and hit Philly. Oh shit, missed.
Well, he works for government, and he just goes where government is.
Government. Where does government live? Lives in Washington. I should go there.
So, you know.
And so, he crashes into the
Lincoln Memorial, and he goes up the steps because why not? If you're there, you might as well go see it, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's a lot of freaking steps. You've been there?
Well, he crashed like halfway up, so he's already halfway there, you know.
I'm a halfway up the Lincoln Memorial kind of guy.
Yeah.
And then of course it's Thade as so I guess hundreds of years ago because Thade was a kid. That's the one thing we didn't talk about. Thade didn't die.
No,
it does actually make sense. It's stupid,
it makes
but
sense.
It makes sense.
But so he somehow got the other ship to work, went back through the space butthole, and somehow showed up 250-ish years.
Is that how you read it? Okay.
Yeah, he showed up basically, and he emancipated the apes.
Okay.
And then I guess he had to fuck like crazy to make sure all the apes.
Or he
just went to every zoo.
Figured out how to make all the other apes super intelligent.
Every zoo. Yeah, he had a speech about it. It's a
he
really
was just feeding
famous
seagulls.
Speech. 7 zoos ago.
what I was talking about earlier with like the scene where he knows where the ship crashed, like there needed to be some more setup for this ending so that he's like recovering that ship somehow. Right. And then in the end, you could see somebody actually does let him out of the cage, you know, like there has to be some setup.
The problem with this is it makes you kind of want to know, like, how did this happen? Like, you know, give me a comic that explains this, you know, I want more, but I don't want this, but I want more.
But I also think this is really fucking stupid.
Yeah. Like Tim Burton did it on purpose because he's like, fuck these movies. I hate it. It's the next guy's problem.
Right.
Deal with this shit. Yeah. It's almost like the ending of West Wing when what's his face left West Wing, the original writer. Aaron Sorkin. When he left, he basically said, I'm going to make the president step down and make the person in charge of the Senate, who's a Republican, be the president for a little while. Peace out, motherfuckers.
My favorite example of that kind of thing happening is actually in Star Trek: The Next Generation, Best of Both Worlds, which was a two-parter. Part one was written by some guy. He thought he was leaving the show, so he like left it on the most ridiculous cliffhanger he could think of. And then they decided to sign him for another season, so he's the one who had to write part two. So he had to write himself out of that corner. I love that.
Yeah, but that's doing it great. This is bad.
No, this is terrible. Yes.
So Thade is Lincoln.
Yeah.
He has nothing has changed about human history. Like they're dressed as cops, but they're apes,
and they're using 1990s cameras. Disposable cameras.
Yeah, the tech is all still a little bit dated. You know, they're not. Yeah. He doesn't arrive in 2001. He arrives in 1989. Like,
you know what's crazy? All the chairs are fucked up now.
Right.
They went through.
If you'd actually seen his chair, it would have been all fucked up.
The thing he's sitting in is just wicker.
Yeah.
And like it's all like snaggly branches and stuff. And they're like, get rid of all these good chairs.
Yeah.
That's the sign of our oppression.
That's how you defeat humans. You fuck up all the chairs, and humans have nowhere to sit, so they just go crazy. Lose their mind.
That's right.
Yeah.
Man.
Why'd you make us watch this?
You know.
It was good to see because I hadn't seen it since the movie theater. I'm like, yep, still bad.
Yeah. Speaking of bad, what's the most evil moment or most villainous moment?
This planet, these people, they are nothing to me.
You were made to be ruled.
The universe is power. Pure, unstoppable power. Come to me, son of Jor-El. Kneel before Zod. And I am that force. I am that power.
In the end, you will always kneel.
Kneel before your master.
Thade killing the guards for no reason.
Okay. It's not bad.
Let's see. It's not the interracial kiss. I don't mind that.
No, yeah.
It's
not interracial. It's interesting.
It's all cricket,
I mean, they're racist. It's racist. I'm trying to think of what it could be. You know what? There had to be more depth. It's something Thade did to someone.
I know what it is.
What?
It's when the niece is picking out her human. He goes up to the cage and he scares his niece. Like, he's so evil.
Oh yeah, for no reason.
For no reason, he just like snarls at his niece, and sends her running. It's just for no reason. It's just so dumb.
He's such a good dad.
Uncle,
whatever.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. I'll give you that.
Did you have one? Like,
didn't I say one?
Did you?
Did I?
Sure. We'll say yes. and we'll move on to everyone's most heroic moment.
I believe there's a hero in all of us.
I just finally know what I have to do.
That keeps us honest.
I'm here to fight for truth and justice in the American way.
Gives us strength.
You will give the people of Earth an ideal to strive towards.
Makes us noble.
And I know in my heart that it's right.
It's when Marky Mark takes a perfectly good chimp, throws him out of the ship, jumps in it, and flies the hell away and leaves the chimp.
Here, you throw this away for me.
Here, he's half trained. He only knows how to land.
Yeah.
Which is ironic because that's the one thing Mark Wahlberg doesn't know how to do.
Right. Yeah.
He took the only thing that, like, he's like the closest crewmate he has, and he's just like, here you go.
He'll be fine here. You know, he's
that might be most villainous. I go back. You know what? That's my most villainous.
Okay. He strands that monkey on this planet.
Yeah.
I think just firing the gun and killing all the apes, or not really killing, but throwing them around on fire,
ragdolling them,
disorienting them.
Yeah, giving him a splitting headache.
Because what he's done, again, going back to the most villainous, he has made Pericles, who used to be one of the smartest apes, he's now the dumbest ape on that planet. Yeah. And that sucks. That's mean. That's evil. That's more evil than anything they did.
I don't really know what my heroic moment is. Because
when Chris Christopherson pulls out a guitar that he made.
Chris Christopherson and the other guy who had the beef with the general.
Krull.
They both died stupidly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like they both. It was dumb. Like Krull went up against a gorilla who had full armor and he was wearing a shirt.
Yeah.
What do you think was going to happen?
Yeah. Also, I think he may be depressed. He may be manic depressive. So I feel bad for him. I'm like,
suicide by cop.
They don't have Percocet and other drugs. There's nothing they
don't even know what aspirin is, apparently.
No.
He didn't know what it was. He just
get an ape ache.
Weird.
Yeah.
You don't know what to do with it. Yeah. Heroic is hard because
they want it to be the moment where Ari goes to Thade to trade herself for the humans, but it's not. It's because that is spurred on by a broken heart for no reason. So I don't like that one. But,
I think character development is probably the weakest thing about this movie. And that's saying something.
Yeah. I keep coming back to the Wikipedia for the entry, just the summary for they have all the humans kind of listed of who they are, what their attributes are, or whatever. And it just says Estella Warren as Dana, a female slave, and Karubi is Chris Christopherson's name, apparently. A female slave and Karubi's daughter. She develops a romantic attraction to Leo. That's it. That's what her character is all about. So,
and she has a little brother who's a dumbass.
Sure. If any of your listeners are thinking, should I watch this movie? If you go to Wikipedia and look up the plot, the first sentence will turn you off. In 2029, aboard the United States Air Force Space Station Oberon, Leo Davidson works closely with apes who are trained for space missions. If you hear that, you just be like, that's Planet of the Apes?
Now, if it were a comedy, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have Steve Carell.
The next sentence. His favorite ape co-worker is a chimpanzee named Pericles. Yep. Okay, this movie should have baseball playing apes.
Yes.
We've got two different movies that are spinning off of this. We've got the Thade versus the Predator, and then we've got this.
Yeah.
So. Steve Baseball. I'm trying to say
Baseball.
Baseball.
All right. Let's rate it. What we rate out of 5. I know that grinds your gears, Jonathan, but
it's okay. You can do 5s, just halves are the problem.
Sure. What's your rating?
2 bananas out of 5. And that's only for the clothes and production of all the gear gets a 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
But
okay.
The movie gets a 2.
I'm going to be generous and give it a 3.
Okay.
Just because there are a lot of things I like about it, and I every time I watch it, I want to like it, and I find reasons to like it, and then that ending happens and ruins it all. But I do feel like there's enough good filmmaking there, even though it's obvious that there was a lot of studio interference and a lot of rushing. That I want to give it a 3 just as I don't know, just to be nice.
Sure. Right on. I'm at a 2 as well. If we had done this movie 5 years ago, I probably would have been higher at a 3.5 maybe. But this time around, like I said, I just had that realization of I don't have to like this movie anymore.
Because the problem is it also killed the franchise for
a while.
Yeah, for over a decade. If this movie hadn't come out the way it is and it just been okay, I mean, it made money. If you go back, that's what's always insane. This movie's made $100 million and it made almost 400 million. So they made a shit ton of money.
They promoted it well. It was well hyped. It was Tim Burton doing Planet of the Apes. What could go wrong? But yeah.
Did you read it? Because I know you should normally do the taglines. You used to do that in the old days.
We used to do that, yeah.
Did you see what these were?
I don't recall what these are.
You'll be sorry you were ever born a human.
That's clunky as hell.
Yeah.
The other one is Rule the Planet, which is awesome.
That's
a
fine.
great one.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're just as bad. I just remember some of the old ones you used to do, and they were pretty good.
Yeah. I did in talking with Patrick, and when he let me know he couldn't be on them for this recording, he did send me some of his thoughts, because he did watch it. He just had something come up. But he said it was a great looking movie, just weird execution and tweaks to the story. Said practical effects did a lot of the heavy lifting for my enjoyment. Kind of fun. Most of the apes sounded like they were talking through a mask. And he and I agreed that they should have done some voiceover, to fix that. But overall, he said solid 3 out of 5. So okay. Overall, that makes this a 2.5, average. So yeah, I can live with that.
The last 2 movies I did here were Crow sequels.
I'm giving you chittering. I'm chittering at you guys.
So yeah,
I think that's about right.
I'm probably is. I'm probably being too harsh on it.
And
that's
the record,
easy
to
not
do.
The worst Planet of the Apes movie.
No,
that's Battle for the Planet of the Apes. That's
yeah.
That
Beneath is pretty bad.
But again, that was made on
cocaine and $10,000.
Yeah.
Oh man. So why don't you, while I'm looking this stuff up, why don't you guys hit some plugs?
Well, go check out my YouTube channel. I am the Unapologetic Geek. I tend to review a lot of older sci-fi movies, including Planet of the Apes. Although that review is like 7 years old now, so I'm embarrassed by it. But you can go watch it anyway. I don't have any podcasts at the moment, so I don't really have anything else to plug, to be honest. Just go check out my my YouTube channel.
All right.
My show right now we're working on is Swordboys. Go to Swordboys on your podcatcher. We review and talk about movies from the 80s and 90s and beyond. Like, the good sword and sorcery movies, sword movies. A large sword has to touch another large sword. There are rules.
You guys did Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yeah.
So it's not just
we do a lot of genre stuff. But we're talking the first few seasons, though, if you want to go listen, it's Highlander, Beastmaster, like the original stuff that really got you into it. We're currently in Conan, about to finish up the original Conan the Barbarian. And we also have a Patreon. Patreon's hilarious because we have this giant wheel that we spin, and we peppered it with these movies that aren't quite good enough to be
a season.
Like the Green Knight, not Green Knight, but the Sword of the Valiant, and all these like crappy
the Beastmaster sequels.
Yeah. Highlander 2, Beastmaster 2. These direct-to-video movies. So you can go find us at Swordboys.
I've got a video on all the Highlander sequels. I watched them all for a video.
We're gonna get through them. They're on the wheel. Just the wheel has been fickle, and it'll pick it at some point.
I even watched the anime.
Yeah. They really like the TV show. They really want to talk about the TV show.
Yes, I'm a big fan of you guys talking about the show.
Duncan MacLeod.
So, and then also coming back, we just put out an episode for Mission Impossible. It's our Mission Impossible podcast, me and Dave Palace. And so if 5 years ago you were listening to Mission Impossible and we're like, hey, where those guys been? We've been around. We just haven't recorded a lot. And we're now getting back into Mission Impossible 3, the best one. Mission Impossible 3. Well, we're going in order. So no, we're going to finish that hopefully this year and get done with Mission Impossible 3 and then move into the actual good ones, which will be fun. Not that 1 isn't great. 1's great. 2's actually fun too. So those are my plugs.
Right on. Yeah. So it looks like we're coming back for, this is an odd one. This is one that I think Patrick said we should throw on the list. So we're going to do Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. It's like, it's not really a comic book movie, but it's like, it's a live action Looney Tunes movie kind of thing with, Kevin Smith characters. So we're going to do that one. But so yeah, what else? Yeah, that'll pretty much, I don't really have any other plugs. So, I mean, you can check out Minute of Thieves. That's where I'm doing Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, 1 minute at a time.
Tra-la-la, tra-la-lee. Great. One of the best theme songs of any of the podcasts out this year. Top five podcast theme songs.
I'm a big fan of that, the way that theme song came together. Like I love my theme song. Yeah.
Yep, I agree.
Good. Cool.
5 stars.
All right. Nice. How many bananas? What's the stars? Okay. Conversion rate for bananas.
A bunch.
Oh,
a whole bunch.
Nice. See what you did there. Well, yeah. That'll do it for this one. Gentlemen, thank you for joining for this one.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. But until next time, stay safe out there, citizens.
Miramax is starting production this Friday on Bluntman and Chronic.
Does it say who's playing us in the movie?
I'm sure it'll be Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. You know, they put them in a bunch of movies.
Jay and Silent Bob are here.
Jay and Silent Bob movie?
There's a movie being made you two were the basis for.
What? And these two guys from Jersey are on a mission.
We gotta stop that stupid movie from getting made. Come on, Silent Bob. We're going to Hollywood.
If they can manage to get there.
How come we ain't getting no rides?
Because you're doing it all wrong. Hey, all the hitches do this. It's the first rule in the book.
You follow the book too? I live my life by it. You live by the book? Well, you picked us up, didn't you? I got it. All right. What are you doing? Whoa! We keep our eye on the prize and let nothing distract us.
My friends and I are on a road trip.
Your friends, huh? Where they at? What the?
Watch the language, little boy. There's females present.
This summer,
is Hollywood ready for Jay and Silent Bob?
Hey! The real Jay and Silent Bob are breaking into show business.
I hate how fake Hollywood is.
The hard way.
You may very well be dealing with the two most dangerous men on the planet.
Fire a warning shot into his bulbous. Stand there and react. Don't say anything, especially you. All right, people.
That's pretty funny. This was a good idea, Lunchbox, and these outfits were totally incognito.
Hey, they need you on the set.
Another white boy in this movie? Dang!
Whoa! Jay and Silent Bob strike back.
I think George Lucas is gonna sue somebody.
Thanks for listening to the podcast. Find the show on Facebook and Twitter at Real Comic Heroes. All music and audio are the property of their respective creators.